Welcome to Bijou Studio. This is the place where we get together and make art and have fun. So I'm so glad that you are here with me today for the first time or whether you're coming back. So this week we are going to be doing a really cool craft. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make stress monsters. Okay, now everybody has been a little bit stressed out lately, me included. So I thought I'd make some stress monsters. You can call them squish balls. I like calling them stress monsters because then I identify with the stress monster because I'm a stress monster. So anyway, so this is the way, I'll show you what they look like. They're really cool. So this is my favorite one. Isn't he cool? He's just really great. So these are little squish stress monsters. So this is what you do when you're stressed out. And you just keep squeezing and squeezing because it makes you feel much better. Anyway, so that's one. I mean, I just made different colored ones. So this one's really cool too. Little yellow guy. That's how I feel some days. Anyways, so I'm so excited that you guys are here with me today. This is going to be great fun. And just stay tuned for the demonstration after this. We'll talk about what materials you need and how to make them. All right, have fun making your stress monster. All right, see you later. Bye. Okay, so let's go over the materials that you're going to need. The first thing for your stress monsters are balloons. Now I have 3 different balloons here. It's kind of nice to do more than one at once. And it's good if you can make one for each member of your family. So these balloons are actually 12-inch. Do not use water balloons. They're going to be too thin and they will pop. So these are 12-inch normal balloons you can get at any grocery store. The next thing you're going to need is some filler to make this squish ball, stress ball, whatever we want to call them. I like to use cornstarch. You can use flour, you can use rice, you can use beans, baking soda, you can use all sorts of things. But I really like cornstarch because I really like it because when you grab onto the stress ball, it makes a really squeaky noise. And I actually really like the squeaky noise. Let's see if it'll make it for you. Can you hear the squeak? See, I totally love that. Anyway, so cornstarch. And then you are going to need a pair of scissors. You are also going to need a way to put the cornstarch into the balloon. A funnel works really great. You could also use a piece of paper, but a funnel is really ideal. You're also going to need to use a measuring cup. This is a 1/4 cup. And what I do is I put for a 12-inch balloon, I put in a 1/2 cup of cornstarch. So it's just a little bit easier to use a smaller cup, do 1/4 cup and then do another 1/4 cup at a time. You're gonna need that. And then the next thing that you are gonna need is, for the fun hair, is some yarn. Now I found these different colors of yarn at Bi-Mart actually, but you can get any type of yarn that you want. It's just really fun for the hair. Then the last thing that you're gonna need is a Sharpie. I really like to use the fine point Sharpie just because it's really big, and you really need to use a permanent marker because that's the thing that's actually going to write well on the balloon and also stay really well. So, okay, so there we are. Now you're going to get started. Here is my 12-inch balloon. The first thing you want to do is to prepare the balloon a little bit, and what you need to do is stretch it out. And the best way to stretch it out is literally to blow it up a couple times and then let it go. This just stretches it out and makes it easier. Makes it easier when we put the cornstarch in. Okay, now it's time for our cornstarch. So I take the funnel and I put it right inside of here. And I try and put this, it's already got a lot of cornstarch on it, so it's kind of messy. This is going to be messy, by the way. Okay, so now it's pretty good and it's on there. So now what we do is I take my 1/4 cup, partly because that's just what fits into my cornstarch container here. So I just plop in a whole 1/4 cup there. And what I like to do is it helps to get the cornstarch into the balloon, or whatever material you have, into the balloon by actually just shaking it and pushing it down with this end of the Sharpie. It actually seems to work really, really well. And usually the first, and then you can kind of, So don't do that. I was just going to tell you to not do that. So be really careful when you grab this because it is going to make a mess. So if you grab that, it's going to make a big poof. Actually, it was kind of fun to do. But anyway, so that's the first cup, and that went in pretty good. Okay, so you can gently squeeze it, and it's right there in the bottom. So I'm going to put this down for a second and get the other cup, the other quarter cup. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I just found out that a half cup for a 12-inch balloon works pretty darn good. Okay, now I'm going to put the other one in. Now doing this second batch of the cornstarch is a little bit trickier than the first because this one you kind of have to do some stretching of the balloon. But keep doing this. You can kind of see how it's filling up down below here, but don't grab onto this really tight because it's going to go like that out of the front, and you really don't want to make more of a mess than you're already making. And so I realized that in order to get all this in here, I have to do a lot of shaking, and then I kind of stretch this a little, and then I can feel some of the cornstarch in there. So you just kind of got to work with it and keep tapping it. Oops, wrong end. So you just got to keep tapping it to get in there. Okay, now I think that's pretty darn good because it's just about all gone. Okay, now we take this out. Now be really careful to pinch the top because the cornstarch really wants to come out. So it's a good idea to try and shake it all down as far as you can here. Shake it all down. I know I've got a lot in there, so I try and stretch it and hold the very, very top. And you can kind of feel the cornstarch in there, so I kind of try and push it down a little bit. Push it down so it goes into the ball part there, into the rounded part. I think that works pretty good. And it is going to make a mess. It just is going to make a mess. But then you need to tie it in a knot. Like that. Ooh. Perfect. And then look, you have your awesome squish ball. Part of the reason why I was pulling it like this is because I was getting out as much air as possible. Because the more air that comes out, the more when you squish it, see, I love that sound. It's just cool. The more it kind of stays in a shape. If there's a lot of air in there, it's going to kind of bounce back. But this way, it's kind of cool. Okay, so there is your stress monster. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the hair. So hang on. Okay, so a good thing to do before we move on to the hair is to actually clean up your stress monster. I've already cleaned off the surface of the table here, and I'm just going to clean just with a rag and some water. It's nice to use something that doesn't have too much lint on it. Like if you use a paper towel, it's going to kind of get a lot of lint on it, and it's going to look weird, but it's not that big of a deal. So just get a little bit clean. No big deal. And clean the surface a little bit more. Just get a little bit of the residue off. We're not trying to be perfect here. Just trying to make not more of a mess. Isn't he cool? It's just too fun. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so now it's time to put some hair on our stress monster here. And I think I really like this lime green. I think that will look kind of cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to wrap it around my hand. We're going to actually wrap it around my hand 20 times. So I just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 19, 20. That's 20. And then get out your scissors, cut that off there, and then take it off your hand. Don't make it too tight. And so I have a nice little circle there. So you're going to cut 2 sections of the yarn. And you're going to tie each side of this little ring here. So I'm going to make one. And just do a simple little tie like that. That works just fine, just like that. And it's a good idea to double tie it. Just like that. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. It does not have to be perfect. Perfect is overrated. Okay. Oh, looks like I've got a couple that have gone astray. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's crazy hair. It's stress hair. Perfect hair is overrated. So I'm not worried about those hanging out. Okay, so now we're just going to tie a knot on the other side. One, two times. And now we're going to cut right down the middle of these. Sometimes it's easier to do one side at once. And you want to make sure that these, to make sure that they're the same length. See how I'm matching those up there? As I cut this one side, I'm just matching those. And I cut right down that side. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to match these back up again so we're getting equal lengths here. And I cut right down that middle. Ta-da! Cool, crazy hair. So then what you want to do on our, I didn't quite make it in the middle, but I'm perfectly happy with that. So we're going to put a tuft of this hair on either side of the balloon. You can just put it on one side if you want, but I like to make it look like it's really full hair, so that I like doing it on both sides. So you're just going to tie it onto one side here. So I'm going to turn it over. And you definitely want to make sure to tie it below the knot. That's also going to help keep any of the cornstarch in. I mean, the knot should do pretty good, but you're just double dutying it. So then right here, I'm just going to cut these extra ones off so those ties just become part of the hair. Oops. I think I missed it. Ah. Now turn it over. And, well, go like this and then turn it over. Like this. I'm going to put this one on this side. And then we're going to, it's a good idea to tie it underneath this other one here. Like that. You just tie. And then tie it twice. And then cut those so they match the other lengths, like that. And then you have this totally cool, crazy, hairy guy, or girl, or dog, or person, or alien, whatever you want. Isn't that fun? So sometimes you can certainly cut the bangs if you wanted to. You could cut the bangs if you wanted to make to make some bangs. You can also leave this part by itself, or you can also cut it off. I kind of like to cut it off. Oops. Sometimes it moves around a little. There we go. And I'm just going to cut that right off. Okay, now what you want to do is draw your face on. And it's a good idea if you use it flat. Try and make it really flat at first, then you can draw your squiggly face, your funny face. Be really careful with this part. He looks pretty crazy. All right. So there you have it. There is your stress monster, squish monster, stress ball, whatever you want to call it. But it is done. Great job. I'm so excited you were here. Check it out. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, you guys. And I hope that you had fun today. And we will see you next week. Bye.